Hey, so just a heads up, you're gonna want to watch SBs 1 through 128 before this episode. Hi, welcome to the Krusty Kast. I'm Jasmine.
I'm
You know
Maddie.
me at this point, probably.
Oh, you
I'm
know
Gwen.
her, you know.
I'm here too.
I'm Randal. I'm debatably here.
So, welcome to the Krusty. I already said that.
Yeah,
We're going to the
let's-
future and the
yeah.
past. The Christmas future and Christmas past. This is debatably a Christmas special.
Yeah, we didn't want to watch Christmas Who because that's like a season or two away. So
Yeah,
And it would
We're just
force
not
us
doing
to
that.
draw a new background.
yeah. I didn't have the
So,
time to
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, we're good.
yeah, I mean we've got some Christmas elves with us.
Hi, Christmas elves.
Okay, that's enough out of them.
Okay, I'm
Shall
glad they're
we
dead.
start
Let's
the
talk
episode?
about let's start us off with SB 129. This is short for Strong Bad 129.
You know, before this episode of the podcast, I wanted to watch Strong Bad Email 129, which is apparently garage sale, but is a little hard to focus on both it and the call at the same. Okay, so this
Yeah.
episode starts with some French narration, and I like when they let this guy be a little sarcastic. I think it
Mhm.
just adds some flavor to him.
It's the evolution of like the narrator character. It just starts off as like, oh, this is the standard narrator, but as you like do more with him, he has to kind of be like a little bit of a jerk.
Yeah, he's a
He's
guy.
also
Yeah.
kind of quirky.
Yeah, Squidward's playing his clarinet, but he has to put in. So the narrator's like, I hope you brought your plugs or something like that. So Squidward's getting ready to play his clarinet, but SpongeBob's alarm goes off and pushes the clarinet right into his throat. And I'm gonna be blunt, I remembered this gag. I forgot it was from this episode.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It
like
feels
a
very
very
tangential.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very memorable like visual, but it doesn't feel related to the episode, so it's easy to forget it's in this one.
And spoiler alert, this is a pretty memorable episode. So,
Oh, for sure.
We all forgot about Birdo Word.
Yeah.
yeah. So, SpongeBob
Dare I
wakes
say
up.
the Glizzy Gulper?
God.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, okay, we can continue with our fucking of course this episode starts with the SpongeBob bedroom scene and he wakes up.
And it's I'm very interested to know just how many episodes in season 1 has one of these. More than half, right?
We're gonna have to
Yeah.
tally.
We'll have to do
At some
like
point.
a count at the end of the season in our season retrospective. So, after Squidward deep throats him, after God,
I don't like that very
Yeah,
much.
anyway.
I don't like that wording either, except it made me laugh, so I do. After that, SpongeBob and Patrick are immediately at his door and they want to go jellyfishing, but Squidward just doesn't wanna. He
Uh,
says he's not ready, but
yeah,
they just
another
asking him like every second.
Yeah.
another incident that can be avoided if Squidward just outright said, "No, I don't want to do this."
And, yeah, just be straightforward with SpongeBob. He's autistic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This.
So they pester him a little bit more.
Yeah. Like, okay, actually something that stood out here is just Patrick immediately recognizing Squidward doesn't want to play with them and
Yeah,
this is like my ideal take on the SpongeBob and Patrick dynamic. SpongeBob is naive but not stupid. Patrick is stupid but not naive.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that one scene in Jellyfishing where they kind of had the exact same exchange where it's like, maybe he doesn't want to play with us. Are you kidding? We're his best friends. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This episode
Squidward
is
asks
jellyfishing, but good.
Yeah.
This episode is very similar to jellyfishing for the first like minute.
Yeah.
So true. So Squidward asks SpongeBob why he's not at work, which raises questions to me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Squidward also works at the Krusty
He's
Krab.
not at work.
I didn't think about.
Was he just like not planning to show up, but also didn't realize it was his day off?
Just
Why is the Krusty Krab closed on Saturdays?
or is he
No, that
trying
Monday
to
would be
like
Monday.
It's Sunday.
is he
I said-
trying to like
okay.
trick him to like think that he's supposed to go to work to like leave him alone or something, or is it
Well,
like
he'll come
just
back when he figures out the Krusty Krab's closed. That won't do
Yeah.
much for him.
Does the Krusty
Honestly,
is the Krusty Krab closed on Sundays because Mr. Krabs is a devout Catholic?
That's
I
the
gotta go
lore.
to church.
Honestly, I think Squidward would fool SpongeBob. I think SpongeBob wouldn't care that the Krusty Krab's closed and would just go to work anyway because he loves it.
Yeah.
So
But
they
Squidward, realizing the Krusty Krab is closed, decides to run off there just to hide from SpongeBob and Patrick. But they go after him,
Yeah.
and
Can we
he realizes he's gonna need a good hiding place where they won't look. So
Can
he
we
goes
talk
in
about
the
the shot?
freezer.
I-
Sure.
what about
I
it?
just noticed that like how many times is the Krusty Krab depicted like at an angle from the left like this? Like usually it's like this, right? Like
I mean-
9
Yeah.
times out of 10, it's
I
like
remember they did that for Plankton when SpongeBob was like bursting through the wall.
Yeah. It's
Huh.
not super unusual to me.
And so he hides in the second place they'd look after he ran off. Which, why would they even check here to begin with?
Why are they following him? Just leave him alone.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, this.
Hmm.
So he breaks into his place of work and hopes to get some clarinet playing in, and he's being pursued. So he goes into the kitchen. He could have just like crouched down somewhere and hid behind something if he was that desperate.
Yeah.
Maybe the freezer wasn't your best choice there, Squidward.
I think he's learning to regret his actions.
Yeah,
And he
that's
does.
kind of just his character arc for the episode. Squidward learns to regret his actions.
And so
this shot bugs me. I don't-
wait, they foreshadowed the door in the corner there, the one that will lead to the time machine. You think it's still a time machine at this point in the episode?
Yeah, probably.
Why not?
Mr. Krabs
Why not?
probably bought a time machine. You never know.
And so Squidward is trapped in the freezer, like the big dum-dum he is.
Yeah, hold on. Maddie, I think you're bold to assume Mr. Krabs would buy something expensive.
True.
And
But
he's
yeah.
like, I'll be out of here in no time. 2,000 years pass. They just didn't open the freezer at any point in the last 2,000 years, I guess.
Yeah, this episode, it's a little silly, and you might need to suspend some disbelief for this wacky cartoon plot to work.
Yeah.
But, like, luckily,
But
it's an incredibly wacky cartoon plot, so I think that makes it easier. I think it's
Yeah.
worth, like,
Yeah.
a little bit of, like, implausible setup to get Squidward into this ridiculous scenario.
For sure.
Yeah, so like, and I do think there might be just a small joke of, surely someone will come looking for me. Smash cut to 2,000 years later.
It's a little weird to have that joke, though, after they just had SpongeBob and Patrick looking
That's
for him
true.
very
That's
hard.
true.
Yeah.
Wait, like,
Yeah.
if you, like, hit something with a chrome hammer that shoots lasers hard enough, it'll break.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
which...
And so the lock finally rusts off on the freezer. And Squidward was staring through the window. Did they... Never mind.
Yeah.
So he gets a hammer laser on him,
Yeah.
which I think is a really fun
It
gag.
really
It's
establishes
such a
the tone
good
of the
gag.
future jokes. Everything is the same except like nominally more advanced and futuristic.
Just really impractical.
I honestly love this take on the future. It feels very like child logic to me.
Yeah.
Everything is chrome in the future, of course.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so Squidward
So he
is
gets-
freed,
He's
Yeah.
met by Spongetron, who welcomes him to the future.
where everything is chrome in the future.
Yeah,
I
everything.
repeat, everything is chrome in the
Everything.
future. And we
That's
get the
such a good joke.
I love that gag.
I love that this specific incidental is still alive 2,000 years later.
Yeah.
Because we see him around in other episodes.
He's
What
still
are the
there.
lore implications of a
I mean, he-
specialized unit for making sure everything stays chrome?
Because it's the future.
Yeah.
Everything's
It's
chrome
got
in
to
the
be
future.
chrome.
And Squidward's not having this. It's messing him up.
Yeah,
No,
he
he
meets
does
the like
not like
other
this.
SpongeBob robots. Now, why do you think they made so many SpongeBob robots in the future?
To get rid of the Freds.
Increases productivity.
I mean,
Yeah.
if SpongeBob's like the world's best fry cook,
I
it kind
guess,
of would
yeah.
make sense that they'd
Yeah.
want to mass produce him in the future or something.
Yeah, that is a weird thought, though. Like, just like this could be like a dystopian story. Like, imagine if you went to the future and you found out that you were like Randal so talented and successful, you became mass produced.
I
Oh, is
kind
that
of
a
see that
baseball
happening.
reference?
What's Blaseball?
You know.
I don't feel like explaining it right now, so I won't.
I do love like the joke that there are for some reason like 400,000 letters in the future.
Yeah,
Oh, so it's.
I think
Oh,
I thought it was
right.
like 480 something.
Oh, okay.
486, yeah.
480.
Wait.
Okay, I overshot, but that's still a lot of letters for no good.
March 6th, 4017.
Oh yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah.
There's a solid date for this. So if like mankind manages to eke out another 2 millennia, this is gonna be this screenshot's gonna be all over Chrome
Evil
Twitter.
I mean, I know that like March 6th, 2017, everyone was like, today's the day Squidward gets frozen.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, this episode takes place in 2017.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Oh, it's just like those Red Kevin videos predicted.
Oh,
He was a
shit.
prophet all along.
He knew.
So the SpongeBobs try to calm down Squidward with their go-go gadget brick hats.
We like skipped over the future. The
Oh,
other
Oh,
most
yeah.
memorable joke in the episode.
Yeah. I honestly expected that joke to go on for longer. Season 1
Yeah.
has conditioned
Yeah.
me to this.
it
I feel like it's
lasted
elegantly
exactly-
paced.
Yeah,
this,
definitely.
This whole episode is pretty well paced, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like how it ends with like the brick dropping Gizmo and then Squidward being like, "Thanks," all
Oh, that was
genuinely.
So he wants a solution from all the SpongeBobs, and they just propose for him to go jellyfishing. And that's another thing I like about this episode. It's just that no matter what time period he goes to, he can't escape SpongeBob and Patrick wanting to go jellyfishing.
Yeah, it's a
Almost
neat
feels
little
like-
thematic through line.
It almost feels like the comedic extreme of the jellyfishing plot line, but it's in season 1.
Yeah, this is
And
a really high concept episode for this season, I think.
Yeah.
Before they went super duper wacky like they do in later seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very out there for the first season. Anyways, Pat Ton shows up, and I don't know what they were going for with
Pat-ton.
Patrick being a robot with 2 heads.
Yeah.
I don't know why why they bothered making a two-headed Patrick robot at all.
What is he for?
Why does he have 2 heads?
Is he does like the Spongetrons need him for like emotional support?
Do we even know he's a robot?
Yeah, maybe he's just a mutant and also immortal.
And
It's
so,
like maybe it's a reference to like if you cut off like a jellyfish's limb, sometimes it grows back on wrong.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so Squidward wants to get out of here. So it's like he wants to go back to his own time. So SpongeBob or the SpongeBobs direct him into a room that's supposed to be the time machine. It's not. It's the can opener. And he dies.
This joke stood out to me so much as a kid. Like, when I was a kid, I would pretend the closet in my house was the can opener.
Fucking
It's
role
really
playing the
good.
can opener.
Yeah. Open RP can opener.
and then they go into every fast food place's famous time machine room.
Yeah.
I do also like it, the idea that in the future can openers have advanced to a point where they take up an entire room.
Yeah.
And he didn't even notice he was gonna go into a can opener.
I mean,
future
do you
jokes are
think
so
Squidward would-
surreal. And
Do you think Squidward would know what a can not a can would know what a time machine looks like, it's the fucking blender from Octo expansion.
So he goes into the one non-chrome room in the future,
Yeah.
and he
I
doesn't like the
love just
interior.
he doesn't like the interior.
Yeah, the tech interior that he hates is a fun little detail.
And I also just this is another thing I took note of. That the future is the future in the future.
Yeah.
Again, feels very child logic to me. Just like
Yeah.
a small, stupid joke that I love.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Squidward can't find success in the future, he gotta go back to the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the first thing we see of the past is like a nautilus because that's one of my favorite animal.
Yeah, I
So
love the
true.
design of the past.
I gotta
But I also
say,
want to say like when they show
Hmm.
the nautilus and they have it like swimming past and it's like all like pink and dark pink. I thought for a sec that it was supposed to be like the fucking past paradox form of a jellyfish, but then like also for the plot of the episode they have jellyfish be a separate thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like past paradox Gary, maybe? I don't
Maybe.
know, because of the swirly shell, I
we'll see
guess.
that in a later series episode,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, but that's a different prehistoric time period, so it's okay.
It is interesting. They felt the need to like go back to the well of what if SpongeBob was caveman?
With two entirely like different interpretations of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
This scene freaked me the hell out as a kid.
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, I love like how this scene opens with it's weirdly dramatic.
Yeah. It sets a very foreboding mood, especially with like the like incredibly surreal background design and everything.
Honestly, this whole
Yeah.
episode just feels like really empty, and I feel probably purposefully, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yeah, I noticed that with like the shot of like this shot. And it's just I it looks like an edit. Like they've Oh. Anyway.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So he's in in the prehistoric times, and he's finally got some peace and quiet, or so he seems. When we see a bunch of
Enter
crazy
the first
critters.
of 3 different caveman SpongeBobs.
3?
3.
Season 11, baby.
Of course.
So
So
yeah.
this is the most famous one because he makes the funny pose.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Can't wait till we get to the funny pose.
God.
There's Caveman SpongeBob and Caveman Patrick, and they're bugging Squidward, and I will admit, I do think the episode loses me a bit in this scene. I think it's kinda just caveman dumb and loud humor that
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah,
You
but
can't really make as funny jokes with cavemen as with the past because with cavemen they just yell and are stupid.
Yeah.
it's not as funny, but I do think the animation and visuals in this scene are pretty good.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
not like
definitely
this all goes to waste. I love Squidward just being so casual while talking. Squidward's
Yeah.
still just Squidward here.
Also,
mm-hmm.
also is the close up on Patrick's like mouth the first instance of a SpongeBob gross close up we've gotten?
Is it?
Could be.
I don't
Might
It
know.
be.
might be.
It's
It's
probably a list
also
of close-ups somewhere.
it feels like a really shitty one. Like there's not a joke to it
Yeah.
or a reason for it to happen. It just kind of happens.
He's just so happy.
Yeah.
So they see a jellyfish and they are mortified by it because they're cavemen.
Yeah.
And Squidward just takes this opportunity while they're just freaking out to go elsewhere and play his clarinet, but their shouting just keeps distracting him. So he goes back to see SpongeBob and Patrick just, well, caveman SpongeBob and Patrick, you know what I mean, passing the jellyfish back and forth and just letting it electrocute them. So Squidward just shows up to ask what they're doing. Primitive SpongeBob makes the face.
Yeah, the famous face.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Squidward decides he has to teach them about jellyfishing.
Yeah, so they don't like hurt themselves.
Yeah.
So he rips off their loincloths, or the first layer of their loincloths, and
Some
makes
of
a
it's
net.
like loincloth underneath, which
I did like that joke.
yeah, I
It
nodded
felt
my head.
reminiscent of like the SpongeBob tearing himself open to reveal himself in fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But he
so
fashions them into jellyfish nets,
mhm.
shows them how jellyfishing works, and just with them being pacified, he goes off to play his clarinet again, but the noise disturbs the cavemen, SpongeBob and Patrick, and Squidward just has to run away because they're running at him to attack him.
This is the part of the episode that fucking scared me because like
Yeah.
they're like really intense going after Squidward. They're gonna eat and kill
They're gonna
him.
kill
wanna-
him.
just want to kill him. They're bloodthirsty.
So he makes it back to his time machine.
He
and
starts just finagling the lever, just asking for the time machine to take him anywhere. He breaks it off. The bottom turns into a slot machine. Lemon, bar, loser.
Yeah,
yeah, I like the loser. It's a
Loser.
funny
It
little
is
bit.
Good.
little thing, and he ends up. And then we get to like, I think like just absolute peak where he goes to the void.
Yeah.
Yeah. This scene is so good. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a like I think it really sort of elevates this episode to me. It's such a weird and surreal thing to have in Funny Sponge Show cuz it's not really like a joke, but it's very memorable and like it
It
evokes a certain sort of feeling. It's
Yeah,
weird and unnerving. I love it.
Yeah.
it's very tonal for SpongeBob for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And like I do think it fits well into the narrative of the episode where Squidward gets to be alone.
Alone.
He realizes like
Hello.
what that means.
Yeah.
It's very good, creepy surrealism.
Yeah.
I think it definitely like the last scene kind of like loses some steam. This part like definitely makes up for it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so he's tired of being all alone in the void. So he happens upon his time machine again.
He
Yeah.
like ends up breaking through the roof somehow because he's just like
He's desperate. He just keeps running but keeps ending up back where he was.
yeah, just like in the complete like place where time and space don't even like have rules. And then he like just he gets like tearfully says he misses his old life and he even misses SpongeBob, and that's somehow enough for the time machine to take him back.
Yeah.
And he's just so happy to be back.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
a heartwarming Squidward scene.
Yeah.
It is.
One of the most like joyful and appreciative Squidwards. He just like sadly tells SpongeBob and Patrick how he like went on this crazy adventure and he's so happy to be back. And then they're like, "So now we can go jellyfishing." And he just immediately turns back to normal.
He
Who
asks
invented
who
that
in
anyways?
you.
Yeah,
do
I
they
do
know
like how this
that?
episode is just like a stable time loop.
Yeah.
But also like
Yeah.
at least Squidward like went down in history for doing this.
Yeah, the
But also
fact that they
SpongeBob is like,
know.
yeah, you invented it.
How do they know?
Yeah, how did they know? Because he only introduced it to them to like two cavemen who stopped doing that as soon as they decided they wanted to kill him.
Yeah, they wanted to
Yeah.
kill him.
It's a bit of a weird ending gag
Yeah.
as well.
It's funny though,
Oh, absolutely.
and I believe that was SB129.
Yeah.
So, what did we all think?
Pretty good.
I gave
Go
this
ahead.
one a 6. I think it's a very interesting episode, a very memorable episode. It does a lot right. I really like the future scene. I really like the nowhere scene. It's an episode that really goes places literally. And while there are, I think, some questionable decisions with like the storytelling, and I don't completely care for the past scene. As Gwen sort of said, in an episode this out there and wacky, you're sort of more willing to suspend your disbelief. And like, for just doing this sort of episode in season 1, I gotta commend them. I love it. I don't know
Yeah.
if I can give it a perfect score, but it's definitely a highlight of the season to me.
Yeah, I hold the same sentiment. I gave it a 6 out of 7. I don't think it's perfect, but it is very, very up there with just episodes I remember for being cool. The jokes are nice. The atmosphere is really good. Everything lands
Mhm.
pretty good. Yeah,
In a way,
yeah.
it it sort of feels like an episode that's a bit better than the sum of its parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the whole thing makes like as a package for a very like surreal and creative experience. Even if I like struggle to like think of like individual parts that I think are like super good or super funny, there are definitely some standout parts. But like when it comes together really well.
Mhm.
For sure.
Yeah.
I gave it a 6. I gave it a 5 at first, but then thinking about it, I put it up to a 6 because of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, just what I just said. I think the alone is like probably like the alone segment is probably like top 3 SpongeBob scenes for me.
Hmm.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Really good.
Might be the highlight of season 1.
Yeah, it's just so
Yeah.
artistically interesting that I can that makes me forgive the caveman humor.
Mhm.
This.
I gave it I was teetering between a 5 and a 6, but I decided to stay at a 5 because it's a really, really well done episode from an animation, story standpoint. Very out there and creative, and they really went all out with the execution. It's not the funniest episode though, and the caveman stuff definitely drags more than it should, but it's still a really solid episode that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Alright, so now for our middle segment, Randall is going to sing us a song.
Oh.
I don't believe I am.
Okay.
Oh. Well, damn, we don't have a middle segment then. Okay.
That
Oh
was the
well.
middle
Uh,
segment. I didn't sing a song.
On to the next one.
We're on to Karate Choppers. Yeah, so this episode starts off with SpongeBob. He's just fucking paranoid. This episode takes place in like a weird section of SpongeBob's life where apparently there is some point where he and Sandy were playing a game where they just go sneak up on each other and beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
As if it just kind of plops us in media res right in the middle of SpongeBob being like, I need to be on guard. And then he goes into his house. He's like, I know Sandy's around here somewhere.
This is just such like a really fun opening scene, I think.
Yeah.
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 I like sort of just having this opening, not exactly a montage, but like just these variations on SpongeBob Sandy karate.
Yeah.
I like,
It feels like a few like rapid fire Looney Tunes sketches.
I like the
Yeah.
line of "Sorry, Pineapple House, I thought you were someone else."
Yeah. I like the like stand up show SpongeBob watches. It's just a live action
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah.
I love this show.
I
Did you watch that
distinctly
show?
remember I distinctly remember them using this or that line, like I love this show in like promotional like
Oh,
commercials and
Yeah, me
stuff
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Made to be a commercial line.
Is this our debut? Also, like Sandy shows up and starts beating the shit out of SpongeBob. Is this the debut of the karate gear?
I think it
I
is.
think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think he had it in the first Sandy episode, so yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's as a kid, it's one of those things you just finally accept. As now that I know more about the world and karate, I don't know what this stuff is supposed to be. The giant like
Yeah.
foam hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
It's
understand like the headgear, but the hands? What?
I guess they're trying to keep it sportsman-like.
Yeah.
I think this episode is also interesting because, like, especially right after Muscle Bob Buff Pants, you get this episode where SpongeBob's like on even terms with Sandy physically, and like
Yeah.
in this
that's
opening scene, he just kind of beats the shit out of her and fucking ties her into a knot and rolls her away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we cut to the tree
Dome at night.
and she is reading the. Is this? It only has one screenshot of this on the wiki. Is this like a nuts book, or is this
Presumably.
like? Yeah, I think.
I mean, that's her thing.
Yeah.
If you hadn't noticed, she's a squirrel.
Mhm.
Yeah, we get a funny joke where SpongeBob tries karate chopping her over the phone by sticking his hand into the phone, but she sticks his hand into the other part of the phone and he hits himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The episode just kind of progresses like that, with some like back and forth gags and them beating each other up. I really like this. I like this a lot more, where they're like uneven matches instead of just being like SpongeBob is a wimp jokes.
I think we're
Yeah.
finally in the era of the show where Sandy can be a fun participant in the story rather than the stick in the mud
Oh,
character.
Is this the?
Yeah.
This is a new sleep outfit appearance.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
We don't see her in bed though, so it's not a character going to sleep episode.
No, yeah.
Isn't this still like her bedroom though? Is it a Sandy bedroom
Mm.
scene?
It's hard to tell. It might just be like her study.
I don't think her house is well documented enough.
Yeah. We have to do like a SpongeBob history on her house.
Is this
I mean,
the first time we see the inside of it, or is this like the?
No, we see it at the end of Muscle Bob Buff Pants.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right.
Anyway, they goes to Bargain Mart. Sandy's going shopping, and I love the just fucking rows of Kelpo. I think this is the debut of
Yeah.
Kelpo.
It's in high
Kelpo.
demand. You need to
Waves
get a
of it.
lot of Kelpo so you can get the free toy.
The shot of her in like the Isle of Kelpo has like the same vibes to me as Squidward being in the Alone Dimension. This is like the back rooms to me.
Sandy Cheeks and Kelpo Bots land.
Anyways, SpongeBob attacks her again, and it's another funny joke.
Yeah.
He like does a weird rebounding thing, and then like stops right before hitting her, but then hits the floor, and
You
she like
forgot the
slowly slides
punchline.
into a bunch of tin cans.
She
I think
heard
probably
about
the
the
most-
one about the squirrel in the tin cans.
We get probably the most memorable joke with the memorable part of this bit with the hot sauce.
Yeah, we
I
get
love Sandy's worst disguise
And
yet.
I laughed so much at that joke. This is shitty squirrel mask.
and I like that there's just an unrelated pile of cans there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of
I'm
course
pretty sure that they bring back that exact squirrel mask in Sandy, SpongeBob, and the Worm.
yeah, I was gonna say, is that the one he wears when he like pretends to be her father?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
God, the continuity.
God.
And then we get Patchy the Sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
And
is
this-
Tom Kenny, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It is. This scene kind of just got me thinking about how these sort of like mixed media gags they feel like sort of a staple part of SpongeBob, and I'm not sure how many other shows have this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's something I really like. Like, this episode got me thinking for a moment, SpongeBob feels like it has like a very distinctive style to itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
a very memorable SpongeBob style gag.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like Sandy drinking the hot sauce because it makes her
Yeah.
even more relatable to me.
Chugging it down like water.
And
And then
yeah,
we find out
his
that it
tongue
was
was
a-
actually a novelty toy tongue he had in his mouth.
And
And he tries
You
to
guys,
get her. Well, you don't like the novelty toy tongue?
maybe he
There's
got
something
that
distressing about it.
maybe he got that at the prank shop from season 3.
Yeah, he loved that
It's
place.
wet.
It is wet. That is disturbing. It was in his mouth though.
I mean, most
Yeah.
tongues are wet.
Yeah.
He tries like assaulting her with it, but then she turns it around on him and fucking Team Rocket blasts him off. So
Yeah,
now we're
she-
done with like the preliminary scenes of the episodes, establishing the dynamic where SpongeBob and Sandy are beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Just
So we're
completely
at
at
the Krusty
random.
Krab now. SpongeBob's
Yeah.
on edge. He knows that Sandy could pop up at every moment, but he has to do his job still. We get butt word.
Literally in my notes, I wrote butt word.
Oh, same.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, SpongeBob sees Fred swatting at a fly and hallucinates that he's Sandy, and he runs off and throws all the Krabby Patties in the air. And they land on Squidward. I love Mr. Krabs in this scene in general. I love him being like casually like, "Oh, you got the hairpiece," and he sees SpongeBob assault Fred. We get another my leg.
Yeah.
Is this the
I think
first
this
my
is the
leg
first time
specifically attributed to Fred?
Yeah, and that actually kind of surprised me because, like,
Is it?
it is, yeah.
Huh.
Because I feel like the only real Fred my leg specifically I remembered from early on was the one from ARG, which I think sort of just established Fred as the my leg guy to a lot of people, but he is here also.
Mm-hmm. I like Mr. Krabs' reaction to SpongeBob just assaulting a customer, being like, "What was that?" Also, I love SpongeBob like bragging to Fred. He's like, "I'm faster, I'm smarter, and I can do this," and he just wiggles his hands around.
Yeah.
I think this episode is just very consistently funny. Like SpongeBob's just playing a game, so it's fun on that level to just see SpongeBob and Sandy having fun. But also, it's a very like fucked up and violent game, and also there's just a bunch of like
Yeah.
funny like lines throughout it.
Yeah.
And then SpongeBob compliments Squidward on his new hairpiece.
Really tying that joke together. And we get a not as funny scene where SpongeBob goes to clean the bathroom and thinks Mr. Krabs is Sandy when he's in the stall. And this is the scene where Mr. Krabs bans SpongeBob for doing karate or he'll be fired.
I don't like his
Mr.
finger.
Mr. Krabs has like a really disproportionate reaction to what just happened to him.
I mean, he kind of got like attacked, and SpongeBob also attacked a customer. I think he's pretty justified in this episode of all episodes.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
should probably be angrier,
Oh
frankly.
yeah, he's very dad-like in this episode. And SpongeBob leaves work and he's stressed out about potentially being fired, which I think this is the first SpongeBob you're fired episode.
Yeah.
And Sandy like starts attacking him, and he's like, "Sandy, I don't want to do karate. I'm gonna get fired." She's like, "I don't believe you. You're just trying to trick me." And Mr. Krabs sees Sandy attacking SpongeBob and gets the wrong idea and fires SpongeBob.
Fucking
And I
FNAF
love
jump
the-
scare.
I love the animation on SpongeBob like
Yeah.
being fired so much. His like completely broken faces he makes and this getting flushed
Yeah.
into himself.
And I love this characterization for Sandy, where it's like she's a bit rambunctious and
Yeah.
doesn't always know what other people want, and I think it's a good like character flaw for her.
Yeah, it's great,
I-
Sandy, especially like, and then she like feels bad about it and tries to explain it. It's like it feels a lot more balanced than how she usually has been in the show.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like they're figuring her out now.
Also, is
And
this our first like really extended SpongeBob crying scene?
I think so.
I think it
This
is.
episode has a lot of milestones.
Well, yeah, I guess I was gonna say Home Sweet Pineapple, but this is probably longer.
Yeah, it's just like a scene where there's administrative SpongeBob like running around crying, and there's a bunch of visual gags of him doing shit with his tears and flopping around.
The big mug.
Yeah.
And I do like that they had this towards the end of the episode where SpongeBob does actually like get the "you're fired" threat.
It
Yeah.
feels very real. It gives this episode some like weight to it, which is surprising.
Yeah.
It's not like something everything's gonna be all right. He's on thin ice now.
Yeah, Mr. Krabs tells him he'll let him have one more chance, and then he does something very interesting, which is he
What might
sniffs
that
the
be?
air and he mutters under his breath, "Mammals."
Yeah.
That is a really loaded line for several reasons.
Yeah,
God.
I just wrote in my notes, Mr. Krabs racism? Huh?
So weird. It feels so like it's not like even like joke racism. It feels like genuine like bikini bottom world racism. The way he like just mutters it under his breath with such contempt.
Yeah! It's so weird.
But, Mr. Krabs, you know that whales are mammals,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, I didn't even think
Oh my-
about that.
I didn't think of that. Oh my
His daughter
god.
is a mammal. What the fuck is wrong with him?
Jesus Christ,
Oh.
Mr. Krabs. What's your problem?
Anyway, the episode kind of brushes that aside. Also, he
Yeah.
like says it like very like quietly too. I had to like re-listen to the line to make sure I heard it.
God.
Yeah, I only caught it because the subtitles had it. Another thing the subtitles did was it had Squidward say dough.
No
Squidward
way.
confirmed.
Homeward.
No.
Homeward bound. Anyway, we get a little scene where SpongeBob tries desperately to think of stuff to do that isn't karate. It's all shitty stuff like trying to squeeze a rock and photosynthesizing. I think it's a very funny scene.
I like the line. How much fun was that? Almost some.
Almost some.
Sandy's
So
like,
good.
Sandy's like, okay, let's just go to the park.
Yeah.
He appreciates that he's trying, but he's doing a really bad job.
Do we ever see the park again after this?
I'm sure we do, but I
I
don't
feel like
know.
we see it like in Dying for Pie, just like
Then we
as
see it
one-
in like doing time.
do we?
Do we?
I don't
I feel
think
like-
so.
Let me check
feel like-
right now.
I feel
You
like they
can
should
keep
go to the
talking about-
park more because
Does
it's
it
a very.
have a name?
It feels like a very specific location, but also I guess if they ever want to have the characters go to the wilderness, they just go to the jellyfish fields.
It
Yeah.
looks like it'd be kind of related to jellyfish fields, honestly. It's got the
feels
same
like
like
it's
grassy.
Kind of in the
thing.
middle of, yeah, like off to kind of the edge. It's just kind of trail. Oh yeah, there's a rock at like the top that has like look kind of near the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
It's not
on
in doing
the-
time at all. I checked.
Okay, I misremembered then.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know.
so they're talking about, oh, I'm so over karate, and then they hear like a guy going, yeah, because he's fishing. Let's breeze past the implications of that, and then they're like, oh, I thought that was karate right now. And they seem so excited, and we get this scene where like they're making sandwiches, and SpongeBob like cuts the barnacle loaf by chopping it, and
Yeah.
Sandy is like sees it and gets excited and wants to chop too, and they both get very into it. And we need to like talk about like the applicability of this episode and what it could be an allegory for.
Yeah.
All I know is I want some of that barnacle loaf because it looks delicious.
It does look
Yeah.
very. It would have like a very good flavor to it, even though barnacle loaf sounds very gross
Hmm.
as a thing.
SpongeBob sex allegory.
Okay, it could be like sex. It could be like drugs or something.
Yeah.
It's just a story about like addiction. And like those are just
Yeah.
like some like body language and deliveries in this part where they're like, right now? Or like how excited they get over watching each other chop. It really
Yeah.
gives this episode a flavor.
Yeah.
I think it's funny to take like the sex allegory to its logical extreme where Mr. Krabs is insistent on SpongeBob staying celibate.
Look, he's a devout Catholic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This all checks out actually.
Oh boyo, no sex before
It also
marriage.
explains his bigotry.
Oh my god, it's all coming together.
Anyway, I like the build up in the scene a lot. It starts off very slow with just like them like SpongeBob just chopping one by one, and then like the floodgates get unleashed, and they just start screaming and chopping everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
like
very-
just the conclusion where you have the pan across the park where just everything's been chopped in half.
Can we talk about the worm for a second as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to talk about the worm.
Is this like a stray dog, or is this just a worm that isn't a
I
dog?
think it might like bite, but I think it might be like a mole or something.
No,
Oh, yeah.
Is it a garden eel?
it's a prairie dog.
Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, they make a bunch of sandwiches and then they start karate chopping each other. And then Mr. Krabs shows up to the park with his dainty little pink parasol, which I think is very cute.
Yeah.
And then he sees the park has been like filled with sandwiches and everything is chopped in half. And so SpongeBob is like, "You think Mr. Krabs ever does karate?"
Right.
It's like, "You think Mr. Krabs ever smokes weed? Do you think Mr. Krabs ever just fucks on the weekend?"
I'm leaning towards the drugs thing now.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see at the ending about the whole
Oh,
addiction
yeah.
thing where Mr. Krabs is just feeding their addiction, if that's
Yeah.
the case.
Putting drugs in the food.
I like Mr. Krabs just making a weird throat clear. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And so just
I
trying
love
to casually like,
SpongeBob.
yeah, just try to push the things that are cut in half back together.
Mhm.
I like to think that was a first take throat clear from Clancy there.
Yeah, it just feels
It's
very
gotta
just like
be.
throw it in.
Ugh.
And so I
And-
was like, yeah, I can't help it. I love karate. You know, this episode could also be about being gay.
Oh
Could be.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
guess it could be about like gay sex.
SpongeBob
as
says, "Hey,
extension.
Mr. Krabs, how's it going?" And I just wrote, "This beat is nonstop."
And you could just
I
be like, you
felt-
think Mr. Krabs has ever been interested in men?
Well, he's a repressed Catholic, so
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, that
this is just my
makes sense.
speculation on the themes of the episode.
Yeah. So then, Mr. Krabs.
He's impressed
Actually,
by
how
how
does
many.
it resolve? Does it like?
He's it doesn't like say explicitly, but I think the idea is he's impressed by how many sandwiches he was able to make so quickly.
So why does he look all fucking pissed when he
I-
first shows up then?
It is weird how he seems angry, but then he's like suddenly really
Yeah.
like, I have a better idea. I guess it's just for the sake of misdirection, but it's a
Yeah.
little clumsy. But anyway, he has them
like
working
this,
in like.
centerpiece table with the flags on it.
I assume this is like the fast food equivalent of like a hibachi type setup, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Why did
we
they
get
get rid of it?
Yeah. You
he,
needed to
he realized
sell
he would
it.
have to pay Sandy, and Sandy's like smart enough to realize what minimum wage is.
That makes sense.
So they start just like karate chopping sandwiches to people, and they love it. And I love like we talk about Fred's face in this scene. He has like this weird expression the whole time.
I didn't notice that, but he does.
He's got like oval shaped eyes and a mouth that's just like a hanging open, like a weird neutral expression.
Yeah.
I don't recall this. Somebody
I
pull this up.
posted it in the chat.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay. I'll go.
Oh, yes, that one. Yeah. Yeah. There he is.
We get the classic ending joke of them saying, "I love karate, I love karate, I love money, I hate all of you."
of you.
Very solid ending joke. Very memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's karate. Or
That
karate
is
choppers.
karate.
Hey.
That's karate. That's karate, man.
I'm used to really like simple episode titles from the start. Like this could have been called just karate.
Yeah.
That was SpongeBob and Sandy in Karate Burger Land.
Defense.
It could be a
Yeah.
defense. It's a karate episode.
Yeah.
So what did we all think?
Well, you're first.
I am first. I think this one is pretty solid. Pretty good jokes throughout. Pretty fun Sandy characterization. Just an all-around good time. It's not like a big standout episode to me, which is why I ended up only giving it a 5, but I can maybe bump it up to a 6. I want the rest of y'all to just try and convince me.
Yeah, honestly, after talking it over with everyone else here, I'm gonna bump it up to a 6 as well. Or as
Oh.
well, like, I'm gonna bump it up to a 6. 'Cause, yeah. I think I haven't rewatched this one in a long time because as a kid, I got like really scared at like Mr. Krabs from this episode and him like finding SpongeBob out about stuff. I don't know why. He was just this like imposing danger in the episode. So I hadn't watched this one in a long time, and it took me a bit longer to warm up to it. But going over it again, I this is just really good. I like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It introduces the karate thing. It just a really good Sandy episode, I think. And
sure.
yeah, lots of really good visual gags. Squidward shows up for a bit even if it's not long. He's used good there.
It's
Always
a good
nice to
impact
see
with what
him.
he
Yeah.
gets. I like
I
his
like
new
the
hairpiece.
I like the park. It's really good. Mr. Krabs is racist. That's fine. He is. It's not fine, but
I'm just not gonna get the Catholic connection out of my head for like the rest of this podcast because it all clicks together too well.
can we
Mhm.
just post like a picture like today on the Twitter of like Mr. Krabs wearing a cross?
Mr. Krabs has become Catholic.
Anyway,
Go ahead, Glenn.
yeah.
I gave this
6
episode
out
a
of
6 as well. I was impressed by this episode because it's a very simple one, but it feels like it's has a very consistent quality of jokes throughout. It's a very well put together episode. It feels like there's a lot of variety there too. Like it's not just like you get like the fun karate slapstick stuff, and you get like some funny lines. I feel like the story goes in some like pretty interesting directions. It's
Yeah.
like a pretty
Yeah,
dynamic episode for what it is too.
Yeah.
it's a pretty complete feeling episode.
Mm-hmm. And I just really enjoyed like every second of watching this one. I gave it a 6.
I was also teetering between a 5 and a 6, but I'm gonna give this one a 6. This was a very solidly funny episode that I don't think did anything wrong at any point. It was pretty snappy the whole way through. All the jokes landed.
Mhm.
I just don't have a whole lot to say about it though. It's a very solid episode. And Mr.
Yeah.
Krabs is racist.
He sure is.
He sure is.
Yeah.
So what unproblematic episodes are we watching next?
So we're gonna
Uh,
have another weird and experimental one with Sleepy Time, and we're also gonna have Suds.
huh,
Another Sandy episode, sort of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sleepy Time's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have to make the images smaller for that one because there is so much good imagery in that one.
Oh yeah, that one. I'm
God,
excited
yeah.
for that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it whenever we do that next.
Yep.
All right.
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.